Back to Smokin' Jay's Garage. I have been experimenting a little bit, or at least I want to experiment a little bit with doing some paint correction on my own, because if you have that done professionally, it is very expensive. However, I don't think it's that hard to do by yourself. I watched a YouTube video on it, and now I'm pretty much an expert on that. So what I have here today is the old hood from my Mustang. So if I screw it up, I don't care. I'm not necessarily working on a vehicle that I care about. I don't even have the Mustang anymore. It's just the hood for it. As you can see, if you take a look, we've got some really nice scratches to work with. A little bit of red paint even we're going to try to take off. Or maybe it has a red primer and we've got a... I'm not sure. This has been sitting in the garage of the guy who I had put the new hood on it for almost 10 years now. So it's dusty, it's dirty, we're going to wash it. But we're going to use Adams Dual Step. Their compound and their polish. We are going to use a rotary polisher because I don't have a dual orbit, but I intend to get a dual orbit at some point if I get good at this. Now, you are definitely going to want to stay tuned to the end of this video, because if I do this right, you'll see just how easy it is. If I fuck it up, you'll know exactly what not to do. So I am going to wash this, and I'm going to clay bar it, and then we will be back when we are ready to start putting polish and compound on it. We just washed and clay barred this, and I just want to show you for reference. It didn't come as clean as I was hoping. You can still feel that it's not as smooth as we'd like it. But this is a 22-year-old hood and has not been ever taken care of, well, especially the last 10 years. So you can see that obviously it's a lot cleaner, but you did get a zoom in. We still got a lot of scratches. It actually accented the scratches. So we are going to start getting our compound ready, and we're going to make a nice cut through here, and I'll show you how to do that as soon as I get this all hooked up. We are using Adams Blue compound pad along with Adams compound, 4 pea-sized drops, and we're just going to dab this here a little bit, work that in a little bit. It also says, now if you're working on a good car, don't just set your polisher on the hood like that. But it also says to give it a spray with some Adams Detailer, which we are going to do. That is supposed to help prep the pad or something. So we're going to turn this on to about 4.5. Work this in just real quickly, and we're going to start actually making our cut. Once you wipe off whatever is left, don't do swirling motions, do straight motions, so that if your cloth tends to put a little bit of a scratch in it, you know you've got straight line scratches versus swirly scratches, and that means that's your cloth that is scratching your vehicle versus the maybe you just didn't get it done enough. So this is after a couple of passes. The hood itself is starting to get kind of warm. So I am either going too slow or I don't have enough compound on my polisher. Now you want to make sure that you do not get your surface that you are working on more than 30 degrees warmer than the rest of your surface, because you will start to burn through your paint. So we are going to, I don't have a thermometer to measure this, but it is warmer to the touch. Not hot to the touch, but warmer to the touch. So we're going to let this cool off for just a little bit. And then we're going to make another pass. As you can see, we got a lot of life back into this. Some of this stuff is probably not going to come out. There's little chips where the paint is like cracked. This is throughout the hood, especially in the front of the hood. But some of that stuff I really don't think is going to come out. You can see some of that. But we're gonna come back. We're gonna give it one more pass, and then we'll pull the tape off, and we will see what it looks like. I feel like this is probably about as good as I am going to get it. I read that if you have a rotary polisher, it is going to take you a year to master it, versus a dual orbit that you can master in like a week. So in like an afternoon, I've definitely not mastered this. You can tell that we've definitely gotten a lot nicer. Some of the things on this hood, I think we are just not going to get off because they're like little cuts in the paint. That's from sitting in the sun and just baking. This car was in California prior to Wisconsin. And those little tiny, you're actually showing up more now, but those little tiny little slits everywhere from the paint cracking from the sun. So I don't think we're going to get those out. At least I am not good enough to get those out. Well, so we're going to go ahead, we're going to put the polish on. We're going to see how that goes. A couple of things that I want to mention. When you are putting your polisher down, make sure that you get solid contact across the whole pad. You don't want to be at an angle. You want to be as flat as you can, which is why I picked a flatter spot of the hood for me to practice on, so that I wouldn't have to try to go around any corners or anything like that. The other thing you want to do, you want to go back and forth, overlapping about half of your pad. So you're going to come here. You're not going to come here on your second pass. You're going to come here on your second pass. You're going to go back and forth, and then you're going to go up and down, and typically you want to do that twice each way. Keep firm pressure, but not too much pressure. The weight of the polisher, this polisher weighs about 6 pounds, so I'm putting about the weight of my hand in addition to that on top of that. That is some passes with polish. Let's actually wipe this in. It definitely feels a lot smoother. Even after I clay barred it, you could still hear, if you listen here, you can hear that's what we started with. And I could still hear some of that even after several passes with the clay bar, several times with the clay bar. This is nice and smooth. It's actually very nice and smooth. So we rejuvenated the paint a lot. We did not get, it probably looks really good from the camera view right now. If we get our light on there, we still see that there is quite a bit of things that we were not able to get out. That's going to show up in real life horribly once you put the light on. Of course, once you shut the light off, that's going to look a lot better. Clearly, I am not an expert, and maybe you should not. I mean, this video might be more of what not to do than what to do. We're going to peel the tape off, though, and let's see the comparison, because I got a little bit of splash on the rest of the hood, so you can't quite see the rest of that. But let me pull this tape off, and we'll show you what it looks like. We definitely made some headway with this. Obviously, we did not bring it back to like new condition, but it was probably too far gone. Let's shine the light at some of these other spots on here. Once you get some of that cleaned off, you will notice that that's actually really bad. Very, very distinct difference on what we did and what we did not do. So definitely, I am not an expert, but clearly we made some, we turned something really crappy into something decent at the very least. So hopefully this was helpful to you. I intend to get better at this, and I intend to do more videos showing you only beginner stuff, because this is actually my first try with this, with the exception of I did polish my boat with a polisher. But doing a boat is a lot different because the gel coat on a boat is a lot thicker than what the clear coat on a automotive is. And so it is a lot harder to burn through. It's a lot more forgiving. So if you're watching this channel for the first time and you haven't already, and you have some advice for me on what I did wrong, what I can do better, what I need to do to make the rest of this look good, definitely leave that in the comments.
A boom.
And subscribe.